Hi, it's April 26th, 2024. I woke up maybe 10 minutes ago. It's taken me a while to get dressed, drink some water, and calm the fuck down so I could convey this breakthrough that I just had. And it was very necessary and needed, and I can't wait to tell my therapist, because this breakthrough for me, I can now help other people with, because I didn't realize how much a change of perspective altogether makes a difference on the whole entire situation. Because I'm a 46-year survivor of narcissistic abuse. That is 46 years. That means I was born a victim, which I was. If I'd been born a male, whole different life. I came out of the womb with a vagina, I was done. Period. So I entered the world into a game. I didn't know the rules or objectives, reasons or whatever. I didn't know what anything was. So I was playing a game with a bunch of different people with their own agendas and stuff. Under the guise we were all together as a team. No. So, yesterday, I was on the tail end of a mini regrouping refresher of the 7.5 years with Dr. Greenwald. I was on like maybe a 3-month official break from it. Like, wasn't allowing myself to think about it, definitely not talk about it, just get away from it for a bit. This is completely, because the whole thing was hard, because once I discovered Dr. Greenwald, I was like, oh shit. Then my ex-boyfriend, then my dad, my mom, my sister, I was like, and it's just, it didn't stop. That was the beginning of a train of a shit show. I was like, what? So, that break, and then someone came over, and I said something to Dr. Greenwald, and he's like, who's that? And I was like, oh, it was kind of cool. I was like, oh, he hadn't heard it. And I thought I would just like sum it up real quick. And we ended up talking about the whole night, which was good. I mean, I've been talking about it for 2 years, in my head at least. But I got on one night, and so I was, there's so many freaking details, so many. And that was weird and sick. I want to sort of go back to my notes and check to see if did I say anything? Did I forget something? Because there's just a lot of information. But I didn't want to do a deep dive. I wasn't trying to reopen all wounds, but it's not done. I just had to, I realized a break was necessary and good, because I had more clarity. And then because of that, I was fact checking myself, and I was more capable to see it a little bit clearer just how disgusting the whole 46 years is, but what he has done to me so effortlessly and easily, I never had a chance. Most people against that man, because in my world, I didn't know there are people, monsters who look like people, who their agenda, their go-to thing is get what I want on my terms by any means necessary. So lie your way to get what you want, and that's it. I didn't know that happened. So I made a YouTube video for my therapist, because I said, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger now. Because it's taken so long to comprehend that I grew up in a fake world, because everyone was playing a semi-different game with semi-different agendas and stuff, but telling me we're all together doing the same thing. That's why I was so fucking confused all the time. And then that's why all these weird gaslighting situations for my family, I'm like, what? No wonder I was always talking in circles. I couldn't figure anything out. God, I needed to wake up. I woke up like this, just raging. Like, what the fuck? So, last night was rough. I just couldn't stop. I hadn't been that mad at him. I mean, I had rage fits every now and then, but it reminiscent of 2.5 days after the therapeutic relationship ended, and I had no idea what narcissistic abuse was. That moment when I came to, when I was in a trance of data discovery, and I realized for the first time that entire relationship was a scam and a setup, and he got me hook, line, and sinker. He got his prize and he kicked me out, and that was it. And for what? Supply? I didn't know that then. What, you don't feel love and shit, so you gotta destroy people? Fuck you. That kind of rage. I was like, whoa. Because that's, that was emotional abuse. And then when I found out about narcissism, what's this? Well, great, then it just kept getting worse. More sick and shit. Of course there was no hope. No one's gonna know this shit. And so, yesterday, yes, when I was fact checking myself, and I made the YouTube video for my therapist, and so I was like, okay, so I need to start really getting this shit, because if you're getting a court case ready and you're trying to prove gaslighting and stuff, it is really difficult. I mean, toying with it and all this stuff, but there's so much. There is so freaking much. You can't go to court and say, okay, take 10 hours, read all this stuff, and that's what I've been stuck at. I'm like, there's so many details. Everything, and it's all important. So I was rereading old emails, which people have chastised me on, but I just with my body again. I didn't know this. Do now, rock solid. The head and the body are separated. The head is a disconnect from the body. The body has its own agenda, if you will, to save itself, but it sends you messages clear as day that I know now. I'm just angry because it's like just been so fucking abused by these horrible people with their own nasty agendas and then blame me. So I was rereading these old text messages and emails, not really knowing what I'm looking for. And all this time, and even when I was in therapy with Dr. Greenwald, that was a habit I picked up a while ago, because I craft emails. I'm a writer. I will spend days to weeks on an email. Back and forth, editing, all this. I do all the time, always have. And so I reread that stuff. And I was just sort of, didn't know what I was looking for. I just needed to do it. And I was at a friend's house. It was just the killing time. They were talking. I was just on my phone. I was reading. And I get to this point. This is what I want to tell my therapist, because this is cool. Because when someone's fresh from the slaughter and they're trying to get them out of that headspace, now I know like an analogy to help them, because I was like, oh shoot, I didn't see that, because I had made so many freaking discoveries this whole time. It's like hard to keep up. I was reading this email, and then I stopped, and it clicked. I was like, for the first time, I just read 3 different emails from 3 different people, all 3 narcissists who used to be in my life, controlling my life, telling me what to do, and I was detached. I was sitting in somebody else's house. I was like, I read an email between me and my ex-therapist, the malignant, clever narcissist, the king, nasty one, and then, whatever. And then I read one from my ex-boyfriend, God, the idiot, narcissistic sociopath, but it was an interesting one. I forgot all about this. He took it upon himself. He felt he needed to threaten my sister, the malignant narcissist, and I was like, whoa, because I was laughing at that, because I forgot all about that, because he's such an idiot. And I was thinking, dude, do you threaten just anybody like that? Does that ever work? Because I pictured her just laughing at it too, because I was like, dude, you're such an idiot. But I was, wait a minute. I wasn't part of the herd. I wasn't on the game field. I didn't realize I needed to get off the fucking field because I was born into that game. That's all I know is that game. I thought I was playing by the rules because they look human. No, those alien monsters are not human. I am. I have empathy and heart and character, and I say what I mean, and I'm fucking accountable for what I say. And I correct my cognitive distortions. God, that is a... Anyone who's watching this, people who refuse, give you excuses why they cannot, will not, don't need to fix their cognitive distortions, narcs. In my experience, 100%. Besides the therapist, because, you know, he's the master of mind fuckery. Serious. Because if you feel threatened because someone points out a cognitive distortion, you're crazy. It's a cognitive distortion. I'm not saying you're an asshole. You just have a bad habit that you can easily fix, and when you do, you'll think better and make better decisions because you're living in reality. Oh no, narcissists can't take that. Now I know why. It's never been about reality for them. It's their choice of what they want to choose to be in reality. And that is why those narcs get on to me, because I'm very strict about living with science. I will not tolerate that shit. No. So, when I realized, I was like, the first time I was, I left, and then I went to take a shower, but I felt at least safe-ish, because they were in the room, or my life. My ex-therapist in Seattle, my maniac sister's somewhere, you know, in a city close by, but... And thank God my ex-boyfriend's dead. Thank God. So I was like, I could breathe a little bit. I stepped off the field for the first time. I didn't... It's like, you know, say playing football and a player gets hurt, you take him off the field and put someone in, right? Well, I've always been on the field, so I've seen people interchange, but I didn't think anything of it, and I never thought to take myself out because I didn't know that's how it worked. I said, step back. It was like I looked through a telescope of these narcissists in my life, because about 46 years of it, I've been drowning in it. I've been manipulated and gaslit so bad, I didn't know where to go, what questions to ask, because I'm like, I don't understand. I'm an American, I'm a Floridian, I go to school, I read, I research. Why am I always wrong? And why am I always being told I'm wrong? Why am I always making all these mistakes? Because each narcissist do not work in packs. They can use each other temporarily. They are solo predators. Each of my narcs had different agendas, different times, for different reasons that fluctuated at their own pace. I don't live my life like that. Because I'm also not a slimy, nasty person. I like love and happy things. Dr. Greenwald had the easiest time with me. I felt it too early on that I was easy for him because, yeah, the massive, destructive, soul-crushing, nefarious, foul, gross abuse from my nasty-ass family, I was a gift from the gods to him. He barely had to do anything other than decide what type of gaslighting he wants to do to me and how badly does he want to make me cry, because then that would get an apology for him. It was this whole game. Again, I didn't know what was going on. So all his agenda was make sure she comes to session so he gets a paycheck, and he'll be nice, help me with my therapy and psychology and stuff, which is what I wanted. And if he continued to do that and smile, since he knew I had no idea just how bad off I was, it was cake. I guarantee you, of all the people he's abused, I must have been absolutely hands down. This comes from going my stuff, because I loved him. I thought he was like my savior, kind of. I was like, I thought there are nice people in the world, who are educated and love their job and love their patients and all. It just felt normal. It felt normal. I thought, and it's because I was so starved. I didn't know this. I was so starved for healthy, positive, supportive attention in an educating atmosphere from somebody else in the same world, and it just made sense. It all just fit. So he so easily got away with horrible things. That's what I was telling my therapist. The magnitude of that man's power, whoa. He manipulated me effortlessly. There is no other way to get around it. I was an absolute puppet. I did everything he wanted me to do, when he wanted me to do it, the whole time, effortlessly. I never really saw life so much as a game and feel and stuff, but each narc, this they deal with low down dirty shit, and that's why, like, as borderlines, like, learning about narcissism was really difficult. I had to read the same thing over and over. I was like, what? Because my brain never fantasized like that. It never wished that upon people. I never knew it existed. I had to laser focus on this bit of science telling me this fact. Carolyn, fact. And I'm like, what? That's what? It was hard. Because I'm not fake. I'm an actual human being with loads of empathy and accountability. And no reason to lie and no desire to do that. So, my father, my mother's, my family presented to that man a specimen of a victim worthy of a parade. Because he got everything he wanted the whole time. And that's why when it ended, it was so hard for me as a person, because I'm a human, he's a monster, he doesn't feel the way I do. How can you fake 7.5 years of a relationship, the whole thing, coming to terms with the whole thing, all of it was fake. It's still a struggle, because it's so difficult. And for him, no problem. And that's why when I revisited my notes and stuff, because I always wondered the very last moment why, and I couldn't, when his mask came off. Because that was timed too perfectly. Because it took 10 months of his face slowly fading to where the very last second of the very last session, I saw him with no mask on, maybe about 10 seconds-ish, and then click the phone off. That was it. Why? So part of me thought, oh, maybe he's being lazy. He didn't care. He never cared about me. And then I thought maybe he wanted to show off. Hey, look, I don't care. And then I was grateful because I'm like, oh, gross. Because I saw a naked narcissist. Like, oh, it was ugly. Ugly. It was very... all these negative attributes that I just don't surround myself with all at the same time. The person that I loved and I thought I knew, gone? Like, who am I looking at? It was very sci-fi. Why did I see that? Why didn't he show me? He had no fear. Damn sure no respect. I was nothing to be concerned with. He had given me this fake persona this whole time. That was the end of that game for him. On to the next victim for him. Afterthought. That moment was it for him. Game over. That to get to here to where I can say that now, because I'm a human. That's not human. That's a whole other thing. Narcissism. Only narcissists can do that shit. It is beyond cold cut. He is the master of mindfuckery. God, the strategic capabilities of manipulating me by any means necessary, effortlessly from afar, always in his chair and talking and stuff, gaslighting like I'm beyond a pro, all comes together. And then there's so much I realized. And then I'll flash back to, I remember this day, my sister decides to tell me that she didn't believe in my diagnosis of dad. I don't know what, which she never saw a single bit of my research. And then she said, I don't believe in your diagnosis of your ex-boyfriend. What? And then she undercut to the bone, and I don't believe your diagnosis of Dr. Greenwald. I was like, what do you, I was like, I'm like sitting on a mountain, fact-checked, sealed to the deal, proof, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Because she's a nerd. Play a different game, different agenda, there's different rules, all this stuff. Doesn't, we're not in the same reality. Because I was thinking back, I'm like, wait, she's been here all along. I mean, during the 10-month evaluation, that was an emotional roller coaster. Holy crap. Whoa. And then I had to give myself props. I'm like, a devaluation stage from any narcissist is god-awful, but this is a clinical psychologist. He had rehearsed this kind of mindfuckery and finally tuned it. It was fucking painful, so he was really doing a number on me. So to figure all this stuff out was remarkable that I was able to do it. And so bits and chunks, and I remember the day when I decided I had enough proof. I'm like, he's a sociopath, because I didn't know what narcissism was yet, but he fit right into being a sociopath. And I was like, oh my God, I was like blown away. And I didn't just wake up, read an article, like, oh, he's a sociopath. No, I've been researching, studying, seeking out data, trying to figure this out. And I refused to believe my lovely, sweet, warm and fuzzy therapist was a sociopath. Couldn't connect the dots. So it wasn't until so many months in the evaluation stage that my brain was like, Carolyn, he's evil. And I couldn't get it together. So when I discovered that, and I thought I probably called her frantic and stuff. I called I wrote this email to my ex-psychiatrist that worked with Dr. Greenwald, because I was scared, absolutely scared, because I realized how much power he had looking like a nice, smart doctor. I was like, whoa, unstoppable. Who's going to stop that? Who could possibly look at him and speak to him in any way, put him under a microscope? You ain't going to find anything. Because he's a pro. He is dangerous. Because any person with any NPD trait whatsoever has no fucking business in the world doing anything in the mental health field. If you want to be a narc and work in anywhere else, not mental health, ever, illegal, no. Because of this kind of damage, that power, no. He's at the top of his fucking game. That is why. Yeah, when I saw his face, it wasn't that he was not ignoring me. There wasn't anything there to ignore. He had his fun. Great knowing you. That was it. Thank you for giving me all this supply all these years. Peace out. Done. Just like that. Just like that. All the time. The whole relationship in that moment. I needed to see that moment for a lot of reasons. I'd never seen a person's mask completely off. I wasn't there yet. I was like, what is going on? I didn't know what was going on then. I know what I was witnessing. And I needed to see that empty cold, because I looked at a man that was looking and feeling like, I can't relate. I'm like, what? I felt this egotistical, holier than thou, I'm better than you. And I was like, huh? It was so weird. It was, so when I read the 3 emails from the 3 different narcissists, I was like, oh, that's my life. That's what I say, and it's true. But I was on the field telling people I've been manipulated and controlled by narcissists my whole life, Now I feel like I'm like at the zoo and you're walking on the safe areas and there's guards and then the lions are out there for the first time. And I was able to see that these narcissists tell me we're all working together. And tell me this is how the world works and this is what you're supposed to do. No. You go by someone's actions. Hold them accountable to their words and their actions. And it explains so much. Because when I stepped back, I was like, oh, that narc's wanting to do that. And oh, yeah, that narc was always wanting to do that. And I see now their bullshit. But when I was in I was born a victim into a game of disgusting shit that I was never going to want to do or understand or live my life by, which is actually it's beautiful for me. Because I was like, at some point after I got discarded, and when I realized that my mom and my sister were narcissists, I remember I was sitting in the bed, and it was like those three were over there. All of a sudden, just in my head, it was like, it was a weird feeling. I'm like, I'm significantly superior to these people because I'm human. Solely on that. I don't get off on doing dirty, nasty things and thinking that's okay and just living my life like that. No, I apologize. I feel bad. I make improvements. But that was the first time I felt there was those three and me. That is why I stick out so much. Because I don't like doing dirty things. I don't have no satisfaction from hurting people. None. I don't want to cause people pain. That is yin and yang with Dr. Greenwald and I. He thrived on it, lived for it. He woke up thinking about who he's going to get supply from by any means necessary. Didn't give a fuck. At all, ever about anyone. Period. Me, I'm all about love. Everything love, glitter, Hello Kitty, all that stuff. It's important. I don't want to deal with the doom and gloom. I do, but I live my life in the sunshine and the clouds and stuff. I'm not rolling around in the dirt trying to weasel my way, gaslight people, do all this weird, nasty stuff. That's why this research is taking forever. Because I'm like, who the fuck does this? Gross. It was just so hard to consume. Because the universe, that's why the universe kept telling me, Carolyn, no. Every time I sort of take a break or stop, no. Because I am sunshine and rainbows. That's not the way the world works. That there are these entities who thrive on getting darker and dirtier and getting everything they want by their rules on their time. But yet the world says, oh, we got to work together. So it's conflicting, all this stuff. So when I had this break, those three, God, it was such a good feeling. 3 horrible people lied to me, gaslit me, all this stuff. And I could read it, but I was safe. Because I was out of the field. I wasn't on the fucking field anymore. They're out there. I'm not. I didn't know. I just found out I was because I was so abused. So horribly abused. And then that made me mad too. Of course, the connection. That's why the narcs, they can work temporarily together, but no, they do not work in packs. They are solo predators. When my sister said she didn't believe any of my research for these people, but especially Dr. Greenwald, what are you talking about? Because along the way, she's heard me say things and some crazy stuff, but it's all provable. I wrote about it all in real time, the whole experience. What are you talking about? Because my discovery of him did not help her with her controlling of me. So she's just going to tell me I'm wrong and I'm supposed to accept it because that's how I was groomed and conditioned to do. And that is why when she was emotionally abusing me, I'm so abused, sometimes I can't see it all the time, and doing all these tactics that I wasn't seeing because I was focused on this other stuff. Every now and then I get an email, and I was like, what? Who is that? And there's a moment, which was weird. I'm like, I'm smarter than her. What are you talking about? I spent so much time trying to gently correct all her very wildly inaccurate, outright false, and weird, fabricated emails that were so wrong. I was like, are you sure you went to college? Like, I'm not digging. I was like, spelling and punctuation, but like dull. And then I thought, well, I have been researching like a maniac for many years now. And then I read these emails from her, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm way beyond her, and I refuse to live anywhere else but in reality and science here in the real world. I will not deal with cognitive distortions ruining my life. And then, God, I could never get my mom or my sister to just listen. Oh my God, they kept thinking it was this weird thing, or I was trying to like, projection. They kept thinking I was trying to like pull one over on them or say they were bad. I'm like, I kept to tell them the definition and all that and how much better I am. And my mom was like, why do I need to live in reality? And I'm like, that was a weird thing to ask. And I'm like, if you choose to live your life on made up, fabricated bullshit data, and then you act on that made up, fabricated bullshit data, your odds of a successful, healthy, beneficial outcome are very slim. But when you live in fantasy land your whole life, and you abuse people your whole life, that is a whole other world of askew. And that is when I started noticing that I didn't know how to articulate, even to my therapist. Towards the end, before I escaped to go to Boston, and I had to have some interactions with my sister, my body, she'd walk in the room, I couldn't, because she had been shutting me down for like almost 2 years, and she would not listen to me and discuss things with me, and then she tells me that my data and my research ain't good enough to say that I know what I know and I know I'm right, and not even give me one opportunity to prove to her easily, because it's all down, that what I say is exactly true. 100%. 100%. But no, she was groomed and conditioned to be right. She was groomed and conditioned to be told she's a smart one, she's in charge, she knows what's going on. So she thought that was okay. That's abusive. You don't do that to people. I knew I was right. But for her to think she can say no to me and then never even look at my research and data, that's not how it works. If you're to say someone's wrong, why? Why? Why is Dad not a malignant narcissist? Why is he not a communal malignant narcissist? And now, Mom was too. I still keep learning things. I don't like all the labels, but when I read, call spade a spade. Both my parents, communal malignant narcissists, cannot deny it. My sister, malignant narcissist, living in a world of denial because it comes from me, her sister, and her brain, the golden child brain, cannot take the scapegoat being smarter than her. Because I'm not like that. I don't have a problem with smart people. I quite like them. If someone is an expert or know-it-all in a certain area, cool, teach me. Let's work together. I'm not like jealous and stuff. But all these narcs, that's why they kept putting me down, telling me I'm wrong, because they're jealous. And I'm like, what? It's a whole world of game and rules that I never want to be a part of, but I've just been playing because I was so abused by narcissists. I thought I had to do what they say and all this stuff. But her emails, I was like, I remember spending a lot of time just first correcting all the wildly inaccurate data before I could even like respond. It started with the text messages too. She'd send me a text message way off. I was like, huh? I was like, no. So I had to first correct it before I could respond, and we didn't get there because she would get mad and all these emotional abuse tactics because she's always treated me so poorly. I was like, oh my God. But I was so busy with other research, I couldn't focus on it. I didn't see. But then when she'd walk in the room, it wasn't like I was scared to touch her. I just couldn't. Because I'm very science. I don't fuck around. And that, my biggest fear, one of a lot of fears, in life, especially when it comes to mental health, is to be talking literally anything to do in the mental health field and be wrong. Just, even if it's a slight, get a statistic wrong or something like that. Oh God, I have fear that. So these narcissists around me who kept telling me I'm lying, I'm making it up, and I'm like, no, That is my fucking fear. That is why this research, I read and I read and I really, really know it. Why is it 0 mental health professionals have ever reprimanded me, corrected me, they've never done anything but communicated with me and say, yeah, we get it, we know, yeah, all that. Yet, all these people who say they're smarter than me, telling me I'm wrong, won't tell me why, and I'm supposed to accept it because I've been so abused, I thought that was okay and normal. Well, now I'm awake. I'm off the field. So now, with another person fresh out of the slaughter of a narcissist grip, I can articulate to them exercise they can do once they're to that stage, because that really helped. 3 separate emails from 3 horrific, god-awful narcissists controlling me and abusing me my whole life or a portion of it out of my life. And I can see it, and it feels good. Because I was still in the field. I'm like, oh, I know I've been abused. Because it's so much. 46 years of this mindfuckery from all these people claiming I'm the problem. Why aren't you doing this? And all that. Oh my God, the gaslighting from my mother. Oh my God. It is so gross. I keep going back to how these people sleep at night, how they look at themselves in the mirror. They're not people. I was raised by a pack of wild wolves. Those 3 monsters, I have empathy. Fuck you guys. Haha. I have love. And I know I'm right. And I don't have to lie. And that's a good feeling. I now know, unless I lose my mind and something goes weird, I'm gonna breathe my last breath on this planet knowing I went through my whole life never ever having to lie, manipulate, or gaslight a single human being to survive. Ha ha. It's true. I mean, if I want to gaslight somebody, I could. I play it from afar. If I see a gaslighting tactic, I seize that data and decide what the hell I'm going to do about it. I'm a gaslighting master. Never done it. I think I'm too prideful. It's because I had it. The amount of gaslight Carolyn, had to endure is just, it's comical. It's just so much. I get to die knowing I never had to get joy from pain of other people. I never had to put somebody down to raise me up. God, it was such a hard concept for me. I really had to read it so much. I'm like, what? This is so backwards to me. Narcissists, if they're feeling blue, will feel a little better if you feel worse. What? It's like the one sentence. That's a hard fucking concept for me. Hard. Because I was raised by monsters. And I'm not. I'm human, they're monsters. God, I lucked out. Lord, I'm so happy I'm not them. Oh, I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm stoked. I can live my whole life and I don't have to lie. I don't have to make up stuff. I don't have to hurt people or put people down or tear them down, tell them they're wrong. Because I'm jealous? Like that just wouldn't happen. It never did. So a lot of these things, by the way, I live my life, I was always so confused because I was being told what to do by evil, nefarious people with their own agenda who are not human, they are monsters. Narcissists are fucking monsters. They are not human beings. There's no way a human being could do what any of those people did. My mother, so glad I had my tubes tied. Every day. Yes, right decision. Maybe that's why the universe took my ex-boyfriend. Maybe that's what it is. I can't figure out a way to thank the universe enough for the death of that maniac. Oh, that was bad. Narcissistic sociopath blackmailing me. It was bad. And he was an idiot. So, anything goes. It was bad. And so, in one of the emails with him, I was reading, and I kept forgiving him for these things. I'm like, why? Well, I was like laughing at myself. I'm like, why are you forgiving that? And that is why 2 Septembers ago, Carolyn died, and then what rose from the earth like a phoenix into the sun, called Zilla the Narc Slayer, I do not relate to that. It is very weird. Just looking back 3 or 4 years ago at a girl, I know, but it's not me. I do not relate. That girl is dead. Not in a sad way, but she was a queen of all victims, didn't know it, and was just worn out and abused and used too much. Because everyone I knew that I loved was telling me false, fabricated data, lying to me, telling me it's right when it's wrong. I hear one thing from her, and I'm like, no. So then when I found Dr. Greenwald, yes, science, CBT, DBT, EMDR, give me it, yes, because it's facts. DSM-5, I can go there. I can find release. People think, why are you reading? Because it makes sense. I can go by that. These people telling me this stuff, like my attorney's sister trying to tell me that or act like she might know more about literally anything in the mental health field. But my diagnoses, that freaking scared me. Oh my God, and I was fixated on this thing. I was so offended I couldn't articulate it. I was like, what? Because she sent me this email, and it was like this one sentence that was spooky. And I was like, you should go to college? It was weird. And she said, well, I know you still have the bipolar 2, but do you think you may still have the borderline? I was like, hold on, wait up. That's like year 1 therapy for me. What are you talking about? It was, what? Because in her mind, for some reason, well, no, she makes up facts. She believes them, acts on them, and that's the result. I didn't know how to, I could tell my friends. I clipped it, I sent it to people. I'm like, what do I do with this? Because that's what I mean. I had to correct her emails. I had to take chunks and define, no, you're wrong. So much. But she wasn't having it. Because she's always been told she's smarter, and she knows better. All this. And then as I started to get smarter than her, it was gradual. I worked really hard at it. And then she dares step into my wheelhouse and try to tell me that she's in charge and she knows better and that she's offering up a piece of data to me that maybe I should ponder and think about. Okay, so how many years have I been in therapy, okay? And you think at this point, I would not know clearly, night and day, what my diagnoses are, what they are in the DSM-5, how many doctors I've seen, medications are you I don't know where to begin. What are you talking about? It was so weird. Am I going to walk into her office and be like, maybe you want to learn how to write a contract? It was so weird. But because she's allowed her cognitive distortions to run amok, and she's a narc, and doesn't give a fuck, and she's been abusing me my whole life because she was groomed and conditioned to, and she won't wake up, and she won't listen to therapy because it comes from me, and all this stuff, and I'm the problem, always happened, yada. Here we are. Fuck you. All that research. I spent months trying to figure out a way to teach these two people that I loved in my life the horror of our father. God, I was stuck on that. I spent so much time and effort and energy because I was so heartbroken. I didn't want that to be the answer. I kept trying to disprove myself over it. It took so long. No, Carolina, you can't be right. Science, Carolyn. Oh, how many millions of people all saying the same thing? You have to accept it. Dad was a malignant narcissist. Yeah, all that, it just kept growing. All that effort. And I finally put together a presentation to, in layman's terms, step by step, because it was gut-wrenchingly painful for me. I made so much effort to try. How do I tell my mom she was married to a monster? She was the king monster. Very covert. Was played dumb. Should be in jail. Gross. I didn't know people. I thought if this happened to a person, they would feel bad or what. No, these people, that's their MO. That's what they do. They wake up thinking about their supply by any means necessary. They're playing their game. And I was born on that field, swimming for my life, playing a game with all these narcissists controlling me, telling me I'm wrong and I'm stupid and all this stuff. And I'm like, all I kept trying to do was be better. But because each narc had their own agenda, I never got anywhere. And I kept making all these weird mistakes over and over because I kept getting different advice for different reasons from different narcs. You see? So each narc was playing their own game, using me as the victim in a different way for different reasons at different points in time in my life. All my life. Because I'm like, I'm 46. What happened? Narcissism. A lot of it. A whole lot of it because of my fucking family. Parents. Sister was groomed. She should be educated enough by now to wake the fuck up and realize what she's done. It's getting worse. Now that I see that I'm actually smarter than her. I was joking with my friends. I'm like, I'm smarter than my sister now. That wasn't a goal of mine, but it's like, if you're gonna write an email, I'm holding you accountable. That is an email to you from me. That means you believe that horseshit is actually true. I probably will. I was thinking about doing stand-up comedy and putting up her email on big screen, and go through line by line by line why it is so preposterous that she would think that made any sense at all. At all. I questioned that. I'm like, she's an attorney. You can't think that. And there's a disconnect. I was like, I'm not fixing her problems. Gross. Do you think you may have the borderline? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? It was so. It's just bad. But this is good. This is a lot. The break was good. Last night was hard. I was so mad. Because he got away with everything. And it was so easy for him. I stand by, I guarantee, I feel if he was interviewed, which he wouldn't admit it, but I was the easiest, tastiest, most fulfilling snack he's ever had. Because it was so simple. He didn't really have to think too much with me because I was so broken and bruised, starving for factual science, compassion, teamwork, and psychology. He fit the bill. All he had to do was deliver all that in a nice way, and then sprinkle some gaslighting in there, and he got what he wanted easily. So I'm like, oh, I was like, God, he got away with everything. But I'm human. I have empathy. I win, ultimately. I know, but it's just a lot.